What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. So the weekend is here. Happy. So today's topic, yesterday we talked about my father's first 1,000-mile impressions of his 2018 Tundra Limited double cab. Today I want to give you a few of my impressions because his impressions came from a Ram owner new to Tundra, and my impressions are coming from a 5-time Tundra owner to the new 2018, which does have quite a few differences as far as we had the LED headlights, the new grille, overall same Tundra, but you know, we had the new gauge cluster, Toyota safety sense. You guys know everything that's about that. But first, a little supercharger. They wanted me to just tell you hello, so there you go. It's raining, so I'm not gonna do anything crazy with it today, but before we get into that, a couple things to cover. Number one, tomorrow we will be doing a live stream again, 6 p.m. Eastern time, which is why I wanted to get this topic out of the way, because tomorrow I want to talk a lot about the 2018 Tundra and the slight differences between the 2014 to 2017 and the 2018, which I will give you a few impressions in a moment. Number two, if you are following me on Twitter and Instagram, you know that I am actively trying to acquire a Camry XS EV6. I have some pictures up there, but if you didn't see the pictures, here are a few right now. Alright, so there you have it. That is the Camry XS EV6 that I'm trying to go after. I don't have my hopes up, and my expectations are pretty low, but, you know, we are trying to work it out, but, you know, I kind of lowballed an offer, so we'll see what happens. You know, if we get it, obviously, daily driver for sure. I'll make some videos like I always say, but I won't overwhelm you because I know this is a Tundra channel, and most of you guys want to see Tundra stuff all the time. Although, when I said that last video, a bunch of guys were like, no, we want to see a little Camry too. I mean, it's 300 horsepower, it's really cool. And it's always good if, you know, you need a daily driver or your wife needs a daily driver to get something that gives you that much fun and power, but also great gas mileage as well, if that makes sense. But anyway, on to the topic at hand. We're talking about my impressions of the 2018 Tundra, or at least my father's 2018 Tundra Limited double cab. Mostly good things to say about it. I do have one negative thing to say about it. I guess we'll cover right away, just to get out of the way. It's always good to end on a positive note. My one negative of his truck is the suspension. I'm not a fan at all of how bumpy the suspension is, and it's a non-TRD. I always thought that the TRD off-road suspension, the Bilsteins that come on the off-road suspension, were very bumpy, but the limited ones that just come, the regular suspension, non-Bilstein, blow that away. The thing is, I was driving in the back seat the other day. My wife and I went to dinner with my mom and him, and he was driving that thing, and it was just bouncing all over the place. Like, it feels like a really rough suspension. When I did the MPG test, I said the same thing. Pretty smooth on the highway, but, you know, you can feel every bump in the road. And it's nice to get some good driver feedback from the suspension, you know, and feel what you're driving on, but every bump in the road is pretty aggressive. Now, the fact that I actively drive a TRD Pro suspension truck, and I've driven a bunch of TRD off-road suspension trucks, and I'm telling you that I dislike the suspension on a non-TRD, non-Bilstein Tundra, to me is pretty crazy. So that's pretty much my one negative of the whole truck. Now, mind you, we just have it. I have a lot more testing to do on it. And it is the same truck as, you know, all the other Tundras from 14 to 17. You know, it looks the same and everything like that. But I love the leather in it. I love that they went with that durable leather versus this, the perforated leather, that I just feel like you have to be super delicate with a lot of the times. I mean, I've owned this truck now almost a year, so I'm starting to not be so delicate with it, because obviously I want to give you guys a good test as well. I don't want to just sit here and be easy with everything. I want to, you know, beat it up a little bit to see how good it is, how much it can take, and things like that. But the leather in his truck is more of a, you know, go ahead and spill something on me, easy cleanup type leather. I'm not too concerned over it. It's a little bit of a stiffer leather. These are definitely more comfortable, but at the end of the day, you want stuff that's going to last for sure. I think the overall focus of my impression of his 2018 Tundra is kind of the interface, and what I mean by that is the gauge cluster, the information screen in the center of the gauges, that kind of thing. I like it a lot. I think for the Tundra not having a redesign in quite a while, excuse me, in 2018, the little things they did they kind of speak volumes, to be honest with you. That center stack, or excuse me, not center stack, the gauge cluster, the way they rearranged it looks really good. That center screen carries a lot of information in it. It now has Toyota Safety Sense. It tells you the PSI for each individual tire, so you can air up and air down. And to me, that is huge for safety, because you got to make sure, especially when you're towing or whatever you're doing with your half-ton truck, you want to make sure that, you know, you're at a safe PSI and you don't have a tire that's ready to blow out. So that is a great thing to have. I love the fact that it gives you the digital speed of what you're driving. Instead of, obviously, we have the speedometer, no big deal. Anyone can read a speedometer. It's like a digital clock versus an analog clock. It's just more convenient to actually see the speed you're going right there, you know, for whatever reasons, for if you're trying to keep speed limits or whatever. But I really like that. And when you actually go through the menu, of your 2014 to 2017, and then you go through the menu of the 2018 in the center screen, you really feel like they made a huge improvement going forward from 2017 to 2018. Because this menu that's in here is, you get a couple screens, there's no toggling through anything. It's really just elapsed time, you know, your average MPG, you get, you know, your current MPG, like, it's just a few different screens, it's not much. In the 18, you know, at the end of your trip, it'll tell you your MPG on the trip, your trip duration. It just feels like it was a huge upgrade, and they didn't talk about it enough, in my opinion. They should have talked about, you know, that upgrade a lot, because when they came out with the 2018, when they introduced the 2018 TRD Sport at the auto show in 2017, they didn't really mention what was going to be on the interior. And then when the truck came out, people kind of got in and were like, oh, look, there's a new gauge cluster, cool. I would have been talking about that a lot, because it really does a lot for the truck. And, you know, we took that long ride for the MPG test, and I've done some short rides with it, and it's just a night and day difference. It just really kind of modernizes the Tundra in a user interface type way. Of course, there's other things we want to see improved. I do love the headlights, the fog lights, and all that, but yeah, the biggest win for me on the 2018 right now is that gauge cluster. It looks nice and clean, and that center screen. My biggest high five to Toyota is definitely that on the 2018. But like I said, overall, it's pretty much the same truck as we've been dealing with for a while. We're going to keep doing tests, but my overall impressions of it right now are good. I like it a lot. I really wish that the double cab limited, now he has a limited, we know that, limited trim, would have a little bit more in it. And, you know, he kind of spoke on that yesterday. He felt that it should have a remote start. I agree. I think they should start putting in the remote starts on a trim basis, I guess you could say. So basically, limited and up should have a remote start in it, because they don't really offer a remote start standard at all. The only way, if you've bought the Tundra and you got a remote start in it, is because the dealer installs it, or it may be installed at port, but it's never installed in the factory unless you order it specifically that way. That's one thing. That's a small thing that, again, I think would be huge. And the things my father talked about yesterday, make sure you see the video. I'll put it at the end of this video so you can click on it right then and there when this is over. One of the things he talked about yesterday are small little nuances coming from the Ram to the Tundra, and I agree with everything he says as far as, you know, the little bit of things, the little bit of technology things here and there. I totally agree with the whole thing he said about pretty much, you know, the air system and the sync and all that. I like the air system in the 2014, 2017, even in the 2018, if you go down in the lower trims. Two big knobs. It's simple. You don't have to look at it. You know, you can turn, okay, I want more heat, turn it all the way to the right and turn it on. Done. Where do you want your fans blowing in your face, defrost, whatever. It's simple, it's easy. But when you get up into the higher trims, you got to look down to see what buttons you want to push. And I feel like I'm getting better at it just because I don't have to look. I'm getting used to it, which we knew would happen. But overall, it was just really quick and easy, and I could feel where I was at without having to look. And keeping your eyes on the road is obviously the point of the whole thing. But, you know, that's not really a 2018 thing. That's a lower trim versus upper trim thing. So overall, I'm happy with this truck. We will continue to test. I look forward to it. So let me know what you think if you were one of the folks that were able to go from a 2014 to 2017, or even an 07 to 13 to an 18. What do you think? What are some of your biggest wins? And what are some of your biggest needs attentions, we shall call it. But I look forward to hearing from you. Comment below the video, Twitter and Instagram at Tundra234. You guys have a great day.